the Supreme Court has come down heavily on the Karnataka government during the hearing on the film Thug Life. We understand the Supreme Court has asked the Karnataka government as to why no action was taken against the threats that were being issued to Kamal Hassan's movie. Karnataka government, in its defense in the court, has said that it will act against any violators. But we understand Kamal Hassan also now has told the Supreme Court that he wants to close case. Remember, Kamal Hassan's film Thug Life has not been released in Karnataka, and it has also been decided from the film's producers that they do not want to go ahead with the film screening in Karnataka anymore, as it has already been 2 weeks that the film has released, and they do not want to release in Karnataka anymore. We understand Kamal Hassan now in the Supreme Court has said that he is satisfied with Karnataka government's reply and he doesn't want to really go ahead. But the Supreme Court has wrapped Karnataka government clearly saying as to why no action was taken against the goons or the threats that were being given to the film. My colleague Sam Daniel also now joining us on the broadcast here. Sam, we understand the Karnataka government in its reply in the court has said that they will be taking action against any violators, those who've been issuing threats. But Supreme Court has flagged the delay, saying that why no action was taken in the very first place when these threats were issued.
That's right, Kitty, because this is one issue that rocks several states, particularly when freedom of expression comes under threat, when stars try to release movies, particularly after issues like what Kamal Hassan faced, because many fringe groups hold the release of the film for ransom, and under the guise of possible law and order situation turning bad, the state governments decide to not screen the films and hold the freedom of expression for ransom. And Kamal Hassan in this case refused to apologize after fringe groups demanded apology, and the Karnataka government too at that point in time seemed to side with them tacitly. And it's in this context now the Supreme Court has raised the crucial question. It's one thing to provide security now to pave way for Kamal Hassan to release the movie in Karnataka, but the other question, why hasn't the state government acted on those fringe groups who threatened to create law and order problem leading to the non-release of this film? It's of course clear that Kamal Hassan will not be releasing Thug Life in Karnataka now, but it's still a huge victory for him, standing for freedom of expression, that the court has ruled in his favor that freedom of expression cannot be compromised and a state cannot be held for ransom by fringe groups under the guise of possible law and order, to which normally state governments bow down or fall prey.
Told the court that he wants to close the case now, Sam, and he's satisfied with the Karnataka government's response. Can you help us understand what the Karnataka government, what all was said in the court from the government?
The nitty-gritty, I think we'll have to wait for our colleague Nupur to come out from the court and share details. But the larger picture is that at that point when Kamal Hassan sought the Karnataka High Court's help to direct the Karnataka government to provide security for releasing this film. At that point in time, even the Karnataka court had demanded apology, which Kamal Hassan refused to do because he felt it's his constitutional right, number one, to have freedom of expression, number two, to do trade, in this case, release his film. It's in this context the case moved to the Supreme Court, and the Karnataka government had told the Supreme Court that if Kamal Hassan decides to release the film in Karnataka, the government would provide security to make sure the people will have no problem to watch this film in theatres across Karnataka. And it's in this context now Kamal Hassan has said he is satisfied with the reply of the Karnataka government. He can choose to release the film. The decks are clear, but he has at the moment decided to not do that.
Yes, absolutely. Sam, I'll come back to you. The Supreme Court also now has asked the Karnataka government to act against those who have been taking law in their hands. My colleague Nupur also with us on the broadcaster. Nupur, what has the Karnataka government said in the court?
Well, Kitty, first of all, Karnataka government has said that it has no objection to the release of the film. It is ready to provide any security that the release might require. And it, in fact, categorically stated in the top court today that it was, in fact, the case was between the state film body, KFCC, and the producers of the film. They were fighting the case in the High Court as KFCC, as a body, film body, had expressed apprehensions about the statements made in the Kamal Hassan's film. Now, KFCC's lawyer today, present in the court, has made this statement in the top court that they acted under pressure. So this, in fact, is a very big statement coming from the state film body that has been at the forefront of this release, blocking this release of the movie in the state. They are saying that they acted under pressure, and they have now given on record this statement in the top court that they will not let this come. They will not come in the way of the release of the movie. Another party intervener was the local language body, the Karnataka Sahitya Parishad, that also represented in the court as an intervener. They said that people's sentiments are hurt in Karnataka from what is said in the movie. And it is Kamal Hassan's movies. The remarks were, in fact, it is a publicity move, and they will not stop protesting. He has made this statement on record on the top court that while they will not resort to any kind of violence, they will not they will not take law in their hand, but they will approach legal remedy, including a defamation case they might take up against Kamal Hassan for such statement, as they are not backing down. They are saying they have the right to defend their language, and they will continue to peacefully protest. But they have assured the court that they will not incite any violence or take the law in their hand. Now, at the same time, the Karnataka government has also assured that it will ensure that the movie is released and rule of law is maintained.
But that's up to Kamal Hassan, yes. That's up to Kamal Hassan, whether they want to release it or not. From their side, they've said that they do not want to go ahead with it. My colleague Deepak Bopanna also with us on the broadcast from Bengaluru. Well, Deepak, the court has wrapped Karnataka government and has also asked it to ensure that it needs to act against those people who take law in their hands, against violators who've been acting as fringe elements in the state and have been opposing the release of movie, and they've successfully done so. Well, it's the onus, clearly, the court is saying, on the Karnataka government, and it should have ensured, these people were put in their place.
Well, probably, the government was anticipating something like this, and that's the reason we saw notices being stuck outside the residences of some of the pro-Kannada leaders. We saw policemen being deployed. The notice, of course, asked them to, refrain from protesting outside any sort of theatres and ensure that if they do want to protest or raise any sort of issue, it should be at the Freedom Park in Bengaluru. That's officially a designated area where protests are allowed as per the High Court ruling. Now, yes, the observations were quite strong, but the response from the state government has been, that they will ensure that they will protect, the theatres, the audiences who come there if the movie is released. But right now, while we are speaking to some of the major distributors of the movie, they go on to say that, we are not going to release the movie. It's going to be about 2 weeks since the movie actually released, and it's not financially viable. So right now, one can look at it this way. While on one hand, of course, for Kamal Hassan, this can be looked as a victory, because he said that this was a statement that was made out of love. It was not something that should have blown up to this sort of a proportion, and there was no need for him to apologize. So there is a Supreme Court's relief of sorts that's coming his way, because that didn't come his way from the Karnataka High Court. But at the same time, if the movie actually does not hit the theatres, what the pro-Kannada activists wanted, they also get that. So it sort of is a win-win situation, looks like. Whether the state government will really respond to what the Supreme Court has said, take more action that they have against the pro-Kannada groups right now, because we already heard from Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, who also said that there should be a limit for everything, and sort of issued a warning of sorts to the pro-Kannada activists just a couple of days ago.